Hello beautiful people, welcome back. It's underscore Ginto back again to the root of today. Today I'm just starting this kind of the video inside the maize plantation here, and to make sure that everything's coming to you live, which is one-on-one and characteristically good, humbleized, and to make sure that everybody who is watching this kind of the video, I appreciate much of the time you have just placed on yourself talking about you have to watch until the end, and also subscribe, like, share, comment if first time you're watching this kind of the video. Thank you very much. Today I have a little bit of a vlog here to make sure that I'm just checking much of how the things are just operating here, because I ever showed you this kind of the fantastic module when we were just planting this kind of the maize, and today you can just feel it because we are now making sure that we are checking on whatever the progress we have ever done, so as we can just move together. So today we have much of the things to entail and to entitle, because we have been checking every kind of the position to talk about what today gonna be coming, because we have much of the pogroms, the lunatic, the psychopathism things that are just surrounding us. And today, guys, I always talk about pleasure to everyone who has been tuned and talked about this is how we're gonna be getting forward, because today we have some lingual mistreatment that has taken over in talking about because of talk about a man-eat-man society. Some people think about because of maybe they're gonna be aged a little bit, but talk about in their 50s, and they think about they're gonna be handling much of the other people, thinking about yes, you can just handle much of the chaotic things, but to the real fact of the time, not in a way that it's inhuman, and not in a way that you want to have that kind of the jealousy, because you have seen Gintu now we want to support somebody, because whenever right now much of the people see Gintu going to somebody and shooting a video there, they know that Gintu has come with something and is now here. Why couldn't he come to my place? Sometimes we always talk about let them focus, let them think about tomorrow is another day. We always have such kind of a platform to come, that today it's somebody, tomorrow it will be yours, and that's why I always talk about tomorrow is another day. But today it was so chaotic, because I never felt good whenever I see much of the people talking about, this kind of the water will never go to the other plantation, or this kind of the water will never get to this kind of the channel and get to where it should be delivered. But we are having such kind of a problem whereby the people want to block much of the water, so they can see other people crying every day talking about, water is flooded onto my house. I don't know if they can just feel good, and I don't know how they feel whenever they hear that somebody is complaining from the other panel or from the other party, and they're just, I don't know how they are feeling good about such kind of the equation. And the real fact, yesterday I just showed you about Caster. She's a little bit now talking to much of the fans because things went miserable. Let me talk about this kind of an issue, guys. To the real fact, what I can just come out today to talk is both of the parties were into the problem. Talk about the problem is evolving, whereby much of the parties are involved in something that it will bring the messy work. And the real fact is how you ever understood about the GoFundMe that was coming out about helping Caster. Then at long last, it was just that the money was refunded to everyone. Even you saw JT the podcaster even posted much of a smaller post there talking about thank you very much to Uncle Jamaican, because he ever did something very good, returning the money back to the center. But what was the defect about that one? What was the defect of the money being brought back to the system? They had to bought it so this kind of the people can be helped. And why did it be refunded? And right now Caster, she came out talking about talking to the fans, and also she was so sorry, talking about it was going to be helping her, but to the real fact of the time, much of this kind of the crazy people came in and iteratively wanted to benefit from such kind of a small help that was being formulated, so as much of the people can get something good. But the real effect is we always talk about, much of the people talk about, this kind of the family is begging for this one, is begging for that one. At long last, it was a little bit to help her so as she can just successfully undergo her own surgery, that was to make sure that the cancer treatment is treated very fantastic. It was 7 million Kenya shillings that was being to be offered there, which was approximately more than 62,000 Kenya shillings. And the real fact of today, I can just come out and tell you that she was a little bit I saw her and she was speaking good, and to the real fact of how much of the people have not seen her, she was speaking about how the things are just being handled and how everything is going, her health status and up to date. And she's still recovering too much of the incident that got her, talk about the operation, and also how she's just recovering. And she was talking about it to the royal people, to the royal family who want to support and make sure that she gonna be making sure that she talks about much of the people who helped. much of the people helped direct to the mother, and the mother was having much of the contact, and she was sharing to much of the people, whoever could just call, and it was that way. And to the real fact, that's why I always come out and talk about sometimes we have much of the people want to tell us that oh, you know, we have to do this one, but they're relucting behind. And to the real fact of the time when you come out to talk about that way is that sometimes you have to lead by an example. Show us I've transferred this kind of the money to this kind of the page, so it can help this kind of the lady. At lunch, you are coming to tell us that, oh guys, we should support, yet you have not seen. So you want people to compensate you with whatever you want to be compensated. Then you come out and tell about, oh, you know, you just send this kind of the money. It was to be something which was so bad. And right now, that's why you see even Christmas list. He has never been in a delightful way. He has not been belonging to this kind of the psychopathism parties, talking about how this kind of the equation should be, how this kind of the people behaves, because he is out of this kind of the mess, because he understood and he has ever got this kind of the responsibility to underestimate and also to underrate this kind of the people, because they are so horrible in a way that they can never help you in anything. They want to use you at large. They think about now they have just benefited from everything. So that is what is making much of the people to feel crazy and to feel very bad about why are they using much of the people for their own benefit. And to the real fact of today, it's the same, because I talked about it's a man-eat-man society. And why is it happening to be a man-eat-man society? It's because a person wants to determine that this is the focus I want to do, and I want to benefit from this kind of the person because of this and this. But that one should come to an end. At large, we are striving to make it happen. Much of the people right now want to understand that what is tomorrow and what is going to be coming tomorrow. And even to the teachings, even the Lord talked about to this kind of the Bible, says that let us not be hooked. Much of the people who are just talking much of the lunatic and look what things there. And the Lord says that in the books, it's just written that the way we'll just treat this kind of the person, tomorrow will be treated that way. Because if you are just talking about you are in your age, talk about the young age, and you are just misleading, you are making things which are not even good to go. And at large, whenever you'll just be old, if you're treating much of the people, the older people, that okay, this is how it's gonna be going, but you want you to be treated good. At long last, at your age, when you reach that kind of the position, you'll have to feel it, because it's always coming, because much of the people will understand and should engage this kind of the fact that it's gonna be coming to an end. And that's why you see much of the children, whenever they have a problem with much of the people who have maybe we can't talk about a person has accused you of something, or they has beaten you, and at large you talk about I'm waiting for you, you will be aged and I will hit you like a cherry drum. But it's just that kind of talk about how can we call it, that pain you have, that hungriness that you have, and that anger you could just be having, so you can just talk about much of the things. To the real fact of the time, we always come out and talk about there is time it will ever reach to much of the people, and always to talk about tomorrow gonna be reflecting whatever gonna coming, and that is the real fact. So sometimes when we want to mishandle and counter handle and mishandle such kind of the people in the society, it will ever reflect to you at the back. So let me talk about this kind of the scenario, and I'm just talking about to Castor early position, because I understand the incident that got you, and also I know that how that kind of the operation went, and right now how you're just feeling and recovering, because now you're just put in a very difficult diet. And she was talking about the difficult diet that she is in, that she has never been dreamt that she can ever have such kind of a meal, because right now it's just slight food. I don't know much of how those kind of the food are, but I can just talk about the slight food, talk about watery food, something which is not heavy in terms of even eating. You know, we have some of the food which is heavy. Talk about ugali, the brown ugali, it's very heavy, and such kind of the people right now, they just put in a meal which is a very slight meal that could not bring much of the harm to their body, because right now they need much of is it bodybuilding food, which is proteins and also carbohydrates, to make sure that they are energy giving the food, so as energy giving food, so they can just walk smoothly and also work very efficiently. And also right now they are just defected with much of depression. It's there. Talk about the stress is there, mortality rate is there, and that's why I always talk about they have have to be gotten to much of the food, which is very essential to the hypothalamus, talk about medulla oblongata, so as it can just make sure that the common sense, the senses are working properly, because if you are denied much of the food that gonna be a good nutrient value to one of the organ, talk about maybe some of the hypothalamus is talk about hypothalamus is the stimuli agent that is like a brain that is always stimulating much of the things to the body, and even the posture, and also the communicating to the common oblongata in terms of stimuli and such kind of the reaction, how it goes. Some of the foods are there to make sure that they are energizing and protecting the cells, the white cells, and also the body at large. So right now she's put in a way a very good diet that she has to be maintained with a balanced diet and extra ions, talk about some minerals that will be sufficient to her in terms of getting much of the healing progress. So much of the people, I know much of the people right now, whoever they're just watching, we have much of the people right now, they're going to be talking about, oh Gintu, I'm very sick, but watching this kind of the video, I'm just praying for you, and I'm just putting you onto the prayers, talking about all the people who are watching this kind of the video can just say amen, and everything going to be coming to you live, which is one-on-one. I understand we have much of the problems. Not everybody is healthy the way you can talk about Gintu is right now. Not everybody is at a position of talking the way Gintu going to be talking. Not everybody is in the position of even walking from one place to another. Not everybody is in a position of just even talk about uplifting a leg up. Not even a person has that kind of a momentum even to raise the head and nod the head. Even there's a people who cannot even right now open their eyes, and there are much of the people right now, they are in operations, but they can talk about we have to watch Gintu, and he is one of the people who can just make sure that we are motivated. That is the best method I can just talk about. That is the way forward. But mistreatment, misachievements, and mislungwatmessions of much of the people want to talk about, oh, because I am a person who ever was there, and right now you want to bring that kind of the superpower. We understand that everybody's protected, and those kind of the people are always praying, and I don't know why. And this is the fact, guys. You have to consider this one. Because in the village I've just seen this kind of an impact. It's still prevailing, it's still bringing some krakatoos, it's still bringing some stupid allegations and ammunitions and to our own way of moving forward. What do I mean in terms of this one? Very many people, they are going to church. Very many people are always talking about, I'm a Christian. Every day they are going to church. Every time they're just talking about, even is a part of the clergymen who can just even preach. There are much of the people who are, talk about, they have a bigger chance, or they have a bigger seat in their own church. Talk about is the church elder. Talk about is part of the choir master. Is part of this and then this. And every day they're talking about church. They're ever preaching a gospel, but whenever you go back to their own internal organs, talk about the heart and also the souls, they're not even related to the church. That is what I've just seen today, because when I talk about much of this kind of the people who are talking about, they know much of the things they want to whatever they talk about is whatever comes from them is about beatings, is about accusations. Legitimately, you have to understand this kind of the people, they have so big mouth of talking, but whenever you are just themselves, you are you and them, and you talk about now talk whatever you are talking, they'll just talk about, and they will start shivering, they will start looking like they are dancing, and they will just be in a way that they are not in a comfort zone. But whenever you are out of it, they are talking loudly with their own loudest voice. I'm talking about, you think about the people who can just handle everything here. And to the real fact, I've ever seen this kind of the biggest scenario, what I'm just meaning here, because you have too many, and this kind of the thing, it has much of less mothers, and so many fathers are doing it. The aged people, more than 45 years, talk about 50 years, they are having such kind of a mentality of talking about, you know, I will hit you like a Cherokee drum, I'll do this one, oh, I don't want nonsense, I don't know what these ones. But when you go direct to the point, that the ones who have to be rectified, but they think about talk about, I don't know how they think about right now, because the world changes, things changes, because they have to react perpendicularly. When a person is talking about, you know, whenever you talk about something a poison to you, maybe it's good to me, and I think that kind of a song was sung with a Nigerian guy who is also a singer, talking about something poisonous to you, it's food to me. And that is what always is coming. When you talk about Gintu is very bad. You want to accuse Gintu, you want to jail Gintu, you want to talk about, you want to delete Gintu, you want to make any kind of the accusations about Gintu. Do you think that I am just poison to you? But to other people, talk about the parents, talk about the community, I'm very beneficial. So that is what is always going on. So much of the people, they have to relate that nobody in this kind of the world is having a problem, is having such kind of a way of mistreatment to be handled unto her or him because of your own jealousy and ego, because of the progress and the prosperity of this kind of the person. So to the real fact of the time, we ever pray too much of the people who are having this kind of the problems, they are always available, and we want to take away and move away from this kind of the scenarios. We have to understand that we always have the scenario for us to even talk about, because we are from the village. We have to talk about this is this one, and when it's gonna be getting to a little bit of time, guys, I talked about processing much of the 2-3 things about 2-3 things here, and I told you that I'm gonna be traveling a little bit to make sure that we're gonna be having a travel, and I'm gonna be preaching the gospel always, making sure that people will just learn and get much of the things here. So much of the people, they think about whenever they see a person is getting a little bit of a progress, they think about he has landed, has removed much of the things from them. This is the scenario that's turning on round, because when I talk about that way, I always mean that when it reaches at a time that a person never wanted you to be in a position you are right now. If we could be given a position at large whenever we're starting the YouTube channel and say about, hey bro, do you know that in 1 year time you'll ever build? Nobody could just talk about, no, Gintu will never build, Muges will never build, and they will ever come talk about, you know, this kind of the boys, oh, they are behaving this way, their channels are small, they'll never, you know, even right now Master KG is having more than 500,000 subscribers, is now building after 6 years, maybe 4 years, 5, 7 years, he has not even finished building. So who is Gintu? Who is Mogesi? They want to judge people upholded to their own, talk about the falseness, the jealousy they have, the ego they have. They want to drive themselves that this kind of the person could not make it. But at large, they're coming to wonder whenever a person started rising and they talk about, why not me? That is the things that I was told with the Master KG, and I just got it. And from that day, I changed. And I talk about he changed me in such kind of a way. Talking about whenever Mama Gift shot a video from my own fish pond and came and got that 6,000K subscribers. Talk about got that 6K views. And I went to whenever I was having a video, Master KG told me that, oh, Gintu, you know, never be jealous of somebody has used your asset. Then he is making it than he used your own asset, and you can just feel that, oh, why not me? He told me that your day is coming. And maybe it's their day, because sometimes whenever you hear a drum is beating on the loudest, and it's now very clear it's going to burst. You have to understand it. So sometimes that's why I always talk about whenever you see much of the people starting and talking about, yeah, I'm untouchable, I'm this way. It teaches that at a time you are in an accident already. So better the people just starting from down and going up, and now cherishing and knowing that this is the valid point I want to move from and go and make it happening to the front yard. So that will be the fantastic way for us to move, despite being intimidated and accusated, guys. And that is what I'm always talking about. We are having such kind of a problem and to this kind of the regime. So what is coming in is much of the people never watched Caster, and I'm gonna be taking this kind of minutes talking about Caster. She's now healing. I think she's healing well, and she's now subjected to much of the treatment, but she never talked about the arrears or whatever the money was. But the real fact is she was talking about people who are just still supporting, they can just support, and she talked about you can just get the number to the mother, to the bio, and such kind of the thing. And the real fact is she is right now, she's now looking pretty, and I think she's now recovering. You can even see she was never even tagging this kind of the demagogues who are just talking about do this, or I will never give you a shout out if you don't put money here, put 1,000 here. So to the real fact, when we come to the census, we have much of the people who want to show themselves that they can, but the real fact of the time, they are just making sure that they want to kill that kind of the trust. That is what is always there. So keep it locked, guys. I'm gonna be getting to the 28th minute here. So tomorrow we're gonna be having Mayani gonna be going to the court for the mention, and you understand how that kind of the program is, and you have heard about all the programs that you have ever set aside, talking about from A, B, C, D until to date, that how he is just feeling, how he is just getting outside there. The content is always coming and making sure that everything is moving from one place to another. So the real fact is tomorrow I'm gonna be getting there very early in the morning, because when we went to the prison, I was given much of the papers that you're gonna be going with it at the court, so they can just, whenever the court will be just mentioned, I think it's court 2, because the court 1 is no longer doing any work, and the court 2 is the one that is still persisting, and we have one judge and one prosecutor who is available there. So when the case will just be mentioned, I saw that they are having witnesses, like 5 witnesses there, but the witnesses we are talking about are how are they called? The village elders. They are not village elders, this kind of how can we call them? The village elders, I think the village elders, those kind of the Nyumba Kumi, the village elders, think about that one. So they're the ones who are put part of that kind of the program, and we're gonna be reaching there, so you can just check what's really coming out, because everything gonna be coming to you live, which is one-on-one from every kind of the section that we get a chance for us to film and get to know what is the progress and how long will it stay, because much of the people are focused talking about, oh, Mayani should be this way, should be that way, should be this way, and everything is so fantastic. And all the people who have ever been supporting, talking about Mayani this, Mayani that, Mayani those ones, and every kind of the person who ever talked about, oh, Gintu, can I meet with Mayani? Can I do this with Mayani? Can I send through you money so I can just give to Mayani? Everything is okay, and even you can just ask to Mayani. Everything is just working. There's only one woman who talked about Gintu should make sure that I'm placing Mayani in a very fantastic way, and I will be feeding him every day, talking about giving him the money in a slow motion, and that is the one thing I want to embrace and talk about. That is the way forward also, because we have some 2-3 shenanigans about him. He can just be given a lot of money, and tomorrow you not get the money. That is the fact about that kind of the boy. So I don't know if it's much of the consumption, and too much people are eating his own money, but they will never help him anyway. So sometimes I only want to rectify him, so as he can just understand the real protocol forward, because he ever understood that whenever he was in the jail, and whenever he went to the prison, the people who went there, it's Gintu, the mother, Fundi Duke, and the borders. And there's no one either who came and talked about, oh, you know, bro, I'm very sorry. Even at tea in the morning, even talking about, bro, this is a 50 bob, or this is a tissue for you to use in the prison. No, nobody ever arrest. And right now, whenever you're going to be coming out, you're going to be now having such kind of a biggest problem of talking about, now still I have the friends, or the friends who can eat your pocket only. That is the biggest way in Nyabohanse, because much of the people don't want to understand. That's why you see much of the people hate me, that, oh, I don't have much of the people can just eat from you only, but you cannot eat from them. They think about that the ones who know the economy, how it's running. That is the linguistic things that we should just evacuate from, because those kind of the people, they're just making sure they only benefit from you, from your own pocket. And whenever you talk about, hey bro, can you support me in this one? No bro, I don't have. No bro, I don't have. So how are you helping each self with such kind of a reaction? So sometimes I always tell Mayani to understand the legitimate way of moving forward, so he can just make sure that he is becoming a person who is very strong enough. Right now, everyone can just talk about, now, oh, I understand you, oh, even you can even know this kind of the person doesn't have money right now. That's the real fact that I can just tell you. I've seen much of a good fruit here. Let me go with it. It's an orange, guys, and that's what I always talk about here and there, because we have to understand each self and understand that who are our friends, at what range, at what manner, at what way are we going to benefit from each other. So that is the real fact that I always come out to talk about. Here I'm just having some safari ants here, and I don't know if they have just woke up here, so they are now talking about Gintu, you should migrate. So I'm just passing through the maize plant here to make sure that everything is so fantastic here. Exactly, this is another position, very characteristic position here. Exactly. So I think you can just check on me, and everything is so fantastic here. So I want to be talking about, I want to be saying this kind of the way, because much of the people have ever supported Mayani, so as he can just move from one place to another and move from one position to another, and even coming out with him. It was not an easy way, but we tried our best, and we're going to be talking about, we're going to be praying to him again for tomorrow as court, and so I can just make sure that everything is going on very, very fantastic. So I'm ever behind to make sure that he's just out of this kind of the pogrom, and also teaching him a little bit of 2-3 things so he can just understand, and not really a statement the way a mother of the people going to be talking about, oh, you know. And even I'm going to be checking on him tomorrow, so I want to teach him a lesson that don't tell him. I want to teach him a lesson tomorrow, because whenever you're going to be going to the court, it should be accompanied with a match of like 2 boys here, whoever they're just cherishing together. But you'll see, nobody's just willing to give his own transport and talk about you're going to be going to that kind of a place, so as you can just have 2-3 things to handle. That's the problem that you're going to be having in the village. So to the real fact of the time, you're going to be checking about that one. So much of the people, they are there to benefit from your own pocket. And when we come out and talk about, whenever they come to understand that your pocket is not benefiting to them, they now start hating you that, oh, Gintu, you are a YouTuber, oh, you're going to be having money, oh, you don't give us, oh, you don't. So why can't you come and ask for a job so you can just be given money? So sometimes you have to understand the real protocols in the area. So this kind of an orange is good to eat here. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So guys, that is the way forward. So today I wanted to focus and embrace about what is our own concern about the movement, the way forward, and also much of the people supporting you. We understand that we are striving to make the change, and whenever the change is going to be coming, we have much of the people want to put us behind and go back where we have just started from. And also we have Masubo 1, who is a little bit sick, and I don't know what is happening to him. I don't know which kind of the sickness. I don't know if you can just get the phone here, because he's talking about he's gonna be sick a little bit, and we're praying for Masubo 1 also, so as he can just be well, as everything is just moving up together and moving forward. So we are having much of the people, and always remember them to make sure that we are praying for them. And much of them will talk about, oh, Gintu, we are not seeing Masubo, what's happening to Masubo 1, and I talk about the Simba are gonna be coming back, and everything is organized, but is just having some 2-3 slight sickness here, and they're gonna be, it's because of the rainy season. It has come with too much malaria, and too much of the mosquitoes are being breeded everywhere. So we are having even typhoid, talk about bilharzia, stagnant water everywhere. So right now is a rainy season, so we have much of the water deficiency diseases that might be just occur from such kind of talk about the nature, how it ever evolved to have things like that one to happen. So the real fact is everything gonna be coming to you whenever you're gonna be so safe. You're gonna be coming and reporting that what was happening to him, and how he was just back of the camera, not coming out with much of the videos here. So Simba gonna be coming back for his own emotions. So ever pray for them, are in a position, and everyone who is so the best. So again, I'm gonna be congratulating, because Mogesi told me that he has just put much of the teats, the other teats like Hello Baby, because Hello Baby is the one who is making sure that whenever you have a problem of teeth, you just check on Hello Baby. You're gonna be fixing your entire mouth to make sure that you are having a very good, a fantastic way. Again, there's another person who has got much of the injuries. There's a person called Jeremiah, and it was one of the boy who was making the gymnastics there with if you can just remember Paris there, and they were having much of the gym. Talk about Kasagati. There's a person called Jeremy, and he got even. Guys, after too much rain, and we have just reached to this kind of a good way for us to have this kind of a good conversation at this kind of the point for us to talk about what's really happening to this kind of the brim point today, because today we have just already taken the bricks that were just at this kind of the area to the house, because it has taken like 2 weeks drying outside. They talk about the bricks, so it's today they have just taken them for the storage. Talk about inside for the store to make sure that they're gonna be so fantastic here. So the bricks are just there already arranged to make sure they're gonna be drying here, and already we are at around 3,800. You can just remember Faida telling us the Faida means that a profit. Yeah, and that's how we want to get forward. So I always talk about it's only the rain that is bringing much of the shenanigans, and also I talked about we have to get forward, because we have to support each other, and we move together as a team to make sure that we are achieving whatever we want. So I'm always supporting much of the people who want to develop themselves, and whoever, and even I was encouraging Faida to make sure that at his home, because whenever he comes here and formulate the bricks here, he has to go at his own home and also formulate his there, so as he can just talk about, even today I've just, because he's the one who is making for me, why couldn't he also make for himself? Maybe tomorrow he can just burn them and sell and buy some stones, and whenever he can just come to me and tell me that, oh Gintu, you know, I am this way. Whenever I'm good, I can just talk about, hey Faida, you have been working for me, thank you very much. And even you can just get a person talking about, oh Gintu, I like those kind of the people, we have to support each other and make it happen, and they can just talk about, oh Gintu, we can just make it. And even me, I can just come out and talk about, guys, let me support him a little bit. We want track over the stones, and it's gonna be so fantastic. But sometimes we have to rectify some of the people. We have to get them to this kind of the far point, because when we talk about a person can just come and construct your house, talk about the permanent house, but they cannot construct on themselves, and much of them, they don't have whatever they do. Like a carpenter, you can just find that a carpenter cannot even have his own chairs, cannot even have a table and to his own house, but he's making very wonderful chairs, very wonderful tables, and you can just wonder what is happening to this kind of the people. You can find like much of the people, like a person who is formulating for me the bricks here, you can find that he has never even formulated his own bricks, and talk about, I want to, whenever I formulate here to Gintu, whenever his Gintus are drying like this kind of the season, I can just go to other, and I can just ask for this kind of the polythenes, and I can just give them, so as I can just even use them for 1 week, whenever they just get, whenever they get a time, they can just formulate. So sometimes I encourage much of the boys to understand that not that whenever you're coming for Gintu and you're talking about you're coming to formulate the bricks here, you think about Gintu is the one who is supposed to have this kind of the things. No, everybody's supposed to have them. Like you are supposed, even you, whenever you have the bricks, you can just formulate the bricks. Even you are supposed to have, even you to formulate yours. And tomorrow you might sell whenever you're going to be slow. If they could be formulating for me and formulating for themselves, and also they were formulating for Magesi, so you can understand that they are legitimately known, and they can just do such kind of the work. So sometimes you have to encourage much of the boys who are ever working, so they can just understand them. Even them, they can just do such kind of progress whenever they like it to do. So they have to be pushed. I talked about a day that sometimes you have to push somebody so they can just come to a conclusion. Even whenever I talk about look at much of the people are just going back to school and learning. Sometimes teachers carry canes, so they can just push them using the canes. They can cane them so they can just make sure that they are progressing. Whenever you are at home and you find that your parents are no-go zone, no jokes ahead, and somebody can talk about my parents, oh, are no jokes ahead, oh, they are so bad. No, they want to rectify you. They know the system. They know the way forward. But some of the people just take it as a failure, and they just make sure that they are now coming about, oh, my father is very bad, my mother is, I don't know how. But the real fact of the time, they are being helped to make sure that everything is moving forward. That is always what I come out and talk about. We can just embrace and make it happen. To the real fact of the time, we'll just back to the G Castle here to check what is really happening and at what rate, and where have you just reached in terms of the construction. So still we are having this kind of the hole here, and there's somebody who asked me about why did I talk about we're going to be getting around 50,000 liters here, or 40 to 60,000 liters of water to this kind of the spot. We are not yet finished. We're going to be going down still to make sure that right now we are in 12 feet, and we want to reach around 15 to 18 feet, that we're going to be getting down and down and down a little bit. So that whenever we're going to be constructing even this kind of the stuff, whenever we're going to be having a lot of water stored here, I talked about I'm going to be supplying water to the community. I'm going to be having pipes that are going to be running from the top of the tower, getting to the outside, where much of the people, you know, sometimes you have a defect of the families. Some people can talk about, no, you cannot go to some people's homes to withdraw water. We have that culture, and we have that kind of the norms. Sometimes you can be told that, oh, it's not good for you to go and fetch water inside the homestead of somebody. So we have to understand such kind of the progress and the prosperity and the norms that are always put aside. So that's why I always talk about we have this kind of the legacy. So I want to be having a very big tank that whenever we're going to be pumping water to the tower, it's going to be getting a lot of water, and we're going to be harvesting a lot of water. Whenever we come to one of the rainy season to another rainy season, we're going to be having a lot of water and to the G Castle here. And also we're going to be using the same water sometimes whenever we have a shortage in the fish ponds, whenever we're going to be having the fish ponds, and we're going to be having a shortage of water in the fish pond. So when I just get inside here, so I can just understand what's really happening to the G Castle here, because it's now not having much of the people here, and the noises are no longer available, but the work is always going on to make sure that everything is so fantastic here. So we're going to be checking on it and make sure that we are just coming back to the real fantastic module here. So today we have make sure that we have finished the bedroom site, and already we have just reached to this kind of an area. Talk about this zone of the sitting room here, and we have just finished the whole section of the bedrooms. Talk about the first bedroom is already finished, and talk about the loo and the bedroom here. Talk about this kind of the door here, it's already finished. Talk about even this kind of the bedroom here, it's already finished, and even the fourth bedroom is already finished here. So what we are just remaining on with is talk about the kitchen a little bit here. Talk about the kitchen. We have this kind of the wall, we have the window, we have the door there, and also we have this kind of the door here. Talk about this is the store. Talk about the store. It's also having a way to be, so this is a very easy, it's not a two-way. Talk about a two-way is like this one here, so you have to construct at this end and at this edge here, but this one here, it's just at a one edge, so this one is not even take much of the time. This one here is going to be having a two-way, it's going to be taking a lot of time. Whenever we come to the door, it's just a one way, it's just a one corner here, and you're going to be finishing to this kind of the spot here. So you're going to be closing this kind of the door, so as you can just have much of the fantastic model. So even this kind of the window, and we're never going to be finishing. This is going to be happening tomorrow, and also we're going to be finishing here tomorrow. Talk about this kind of the side from here, from this side until the door. It's going to be finished tomorrow. So tomorrow but one, which will be on Wednesday, it's going to be this kind of the windows, all of this kind of the windows, and this door here, and maybe the other doors there. So whenever we're going to be on Thursday and Friday, you're going to be inside here. Talk about this is the first door in the master bedroom, this is the second door, and talk about the third, the fourth, and also we have some 4 windows here to be rectified the way it is. So the plastering is done, but we are just making sure that it's just the cobras, they're gonna be built here so they can just have the way going forward. That will be so hospitalian, and the way should just go forward here. So I have my father here is weaving here, and we're gonna be checking whatever he's just doing here. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm quite fine.
Everything is good here?
Yeah.
So you are weaving?
I'm weaving this one for
monkeys?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you just put it there like this, you put a stone
you
here.
Put a stone in the middle here.
Yeah. Then you
You turn.
Yeah.
Whenever you turn, then you let one hand go.
Extra energy so that it can drive it.
It can fly.
Yeah.
So, okay. Still we have a problem with the monkeys?
We still have it.
Okay.
Not yet finished.
Oh, not yet.
Yes.
So, how gonna you? So you're gonna be sorting it, or you're gonna be? So, is it a time wasting, or sometimes it's a local way of chasing them?
There's no any technical way apart from
This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but what about the KWS? Talk about the people who are dealing with
those ones needs money.
Okay.
And for them to come, they will not do. They say it's our animals on this one. So if you kill one of them, then you are accused for.
You are accused of killing a wild animal.
Yeah.
And
so
you will be
when
jailed.
they come, they won't collect all of them as they go. Yeah. Because some of them just hide.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
When
Now
they
I got
get
you.
hidden, where you really have to collect it.
Okay. So, but have they ever come to approach, or have you ever talked to such kind of?
We have given a report several times, but no response.
No response.
Yeah.
This is Kenya.
Yeah.
We have to understand this is Kenya.
Yeah.
So that is the good report, and it's just weaving to make sure that because we have this kind of the accusations talking about whenever we can just kill a wild animal, you're gonna be in trouble whenever this kind of the organizations they can just talk about this department of KWS, which is Kenya Wildlife Service. Whenever they can just they will just make sure that they are just putting you into the pogrom also. So when I come to this kind of the reaction talk about we have to strive to make it happen. So this is the local way of achieving ourselves, because I talk about use the local material around you to sustain your sustainability. This is what is always running. If you talk about you want to be waiting for the government to come and chase them, you will find that the maize field is no longer available. So you'll come and get that the maize have been breaking, like you think about the trucks are just passing inside, and you'll just see a maize stock is just standing, and whenever you go back you get that there's no maize are just there. So they have just already picked and they have just gone. So when I come back to the G Castle here, the way it's still drying, because I was told that I let it dry a little bit, and now I backfill much of the soil, and I'm gonna be using this kind of the trees again, so they can just have this kind of the area backfilled with the pure maram, and like right now it can just pass very gently because it just rained, and it has backfilled this kind of the spot very much compassionate. And I always talk about whoever come to this kind of the response and talk about thank you much everyone for being tuned and locked in and subscribe, liking and sharing. Whoever is just helping Gintu to make sure that we are moving from one position to another, keep subscribing, keep and supporting, so they can just make sure that even the sweet comments are going to be coming and everything going to be so fantastic as you just move from one place to another. And that is the way of us to go forward, and that is the passion for us to go. Right, today I don't have the Wi-Fi, and I want to be getting to the town, so as I can just have Wi-Fi, so as I can just even upload some of the videos, because my Wi-Fi, it has got a problem again. I don't know what's the problem with my Wi-Fi. So from early in the morning, because I always wake up very early in the morning, talk about around 2, 3, 4 and around 5. So whenever it reaches around 5:30 there, I sleep completely. So I wake up around 8 a.m. again. So that's the real fact. So much of the people, whenever they talk about, oh, Gintu, you're waking up at 8, but I always wake up very early in the morning to make sure that I'm sorting much of the things out, and also starting my business, because my businesses start around 3 a.m. in the morning. So that is the real fact that I'm going to be having, and much of the people supporting, making sure that everything's so fantastic here. So I'm going to be having a little bit of a round to make sure that I'm just checking, because I have a person who is taking care of the and they are now smiling here. I don't know if they want to greet much of the people here. Nigo bakeri. Tabakeya. Gambiga hi.
Hi.
Akia Mungu. Hi.
Hi.
Mambo iko vipi? He's the one who is having the machine now. He's the one having the machine to make sure that tumbiri zimekimbizwa. So he's the one taking care of the monkeys here. And my father is the weaver, and is the one to use that kind of, because right now my father is a little bit aged a little bit, and he cannot sway that kind of the stuff and throw it very far. That is the real reason here. So the animals are grazing here a little bit, and the dogs are just following in to make sure that, hey, even this one is having a very full of avocado here, and it wanted to eat. So guys, even here they eat avocado. Let me show you. Today is today, tomorrow gonna be another day. So it's just looking for a place where it has just ripened, so they can just start from that kind of a place. So here dogs eat avocados. You can even see they're eating avocado, guys. Continue eating. So they're eating avocados. That is the trend of the dogs of today. So that is the fantastic way. So we have to move with them the way they come, and we make sure that everything is so fine. Yeah, we have so many avocado trees. You can even see we have avocado trees here. We have avocado trees there. We have avocado trees to the far end. So avocados can just fall down at any time. So whenever they fall down, dogs deal with them perpendicularly per unit time. And guys, keep praying for us, and we're gonna be striving to make it happen, and we are striving also to make sure that the content are gonna be coming. Like, share, comment, and support where necessary, so they can just move from one place to another, so as we can just make it happening here. So I'm gonna be ending this kind of the video from this kind of the fantastic model, and talk about God bless you, everyone who's being locked and tune in, because every time we have to come out and tell you that this is the movement we need for us to go forward. So whenever you talk about this is the movement, so let us make it happen, because tomorrow is another day, and the more we support each other, the more. So if we want to support Gintu, support and make it happening here. Our project is the G Castle, and the G Castle has to continue as far as everything is in concern, and everything is put in catapultic way of us to get forward. So keep it tuned, keep it locked. Next time, next video coming soon.